Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to open the February 14th Conservation Commission meeting at 7:02.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So the Fairway Drive marker discussion on compliance, do we need to go through that, or is that being resolved?
It is being resolved. The last time that I sent him an email with, I think I CC'd you on it, and said that the markers that he had put in were completely wrong with the wording that was on it, because it just said jurisdiction, but it didn't say whose jurisdiction it was under. So I sent him a copy of the plaques and the wording that it was supposed to have on there, and said, this is what we want you to fix. And so I told him that if he fixed it, and I'll go out and verify, but he didn't have to come to the meeting, so.
Okay.
Which is what you and I discussed before. So, anyway, he sent me an email and said that he was going to, he would change the plaques with the correct wording, and as soon as he had them completed, he would let me know and I'll go out and resolve it. But he has not gotten his certificate of compliance yet.
Okay,
And I will hold that until such time as it's resolved.
excellent. All right, so we don't really need to discuss that. What are you here for?
35 Wood Street,
35 Wood
number
Street.
6.
Okay, let's move along to 35 Wood Street. Seasonal restriction waiver request. I just passed around your letter that you sent in. I guess you want to go ahead and explain.
Sure.
Yes.
I was in here in the fall, right before
Yep.
the end of the season, and had a brief informal discussion. Haven't come back prior to this point, because I have other things was going on, and I got the foundation in and the site was stabilized, so I would like to get started on framing the house, and a portion of the house is within the buffer zone, and at least when I had discussions, I was led to believe that there would be some flexibility on a fee charge for that work, and I calculated that based on percentage of the house that it falls within that zone, and suggested a fee for my letter to do that, so I could get the house framed and roofed and siding over the next 2 months.
Okay, so when are you proposing to start?
When I can get a framer there, when I have your approval.
Okay,
But they-
because
you know,
that depends on how much it's gonna be, do you know what I mean,
How
based
much?
on,
What do you mean?
the
how much?
seasonal restriction
I-
is based on a number of days?
I think, yeah, so he asked for 10
Oh,
days.
all right.
It seems so you want a 10-day period.
Yeah, but it's never, it's 10 days, but in this business, it's hard to specify exact days, because we could have a
In case you want
3-day
to familiarize yourself
snowstorm,
with it.
or
Right, but 10 work days.
10 work days over this next 2 months to do what I need to do,
Right.
is what I'm suggesting.
So, question, I thought am I correct in saying that we usually require contiguous days?
No, not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily, I'm trying to remember all the stuff we've done in the past, so that's not true, okay.
No.
Depends on the work,
Depends what's going on, okay.
yeah. So, and then is this the property?
That is one corner of the house.
So you can
that's-
see there is this is the buffer zone.
Right.
So the garage area is completely outside, and a portion of the house is within the buffer zone.
And you said the agent was out there?
But I've been there.
This is the one with the trees, right?
No, this
No, this is a
is
different one.
at the end of Wood Street,
Yeah.
up at the top of the hill. And it slopes down and into the pond is in the back. So he has all of the erosion control there. And I went out and made sure that the erosion control was all in place. There was one spot that was having a little bit more runoff hitting it. And so I asked him to fix that, and other than that, everything is stabilized, and, I hadn't seen any problems out there of late. I haven't been out there for a while.
Is the wetland marked like we asked on the other property?
Well, that is one of the things that I
Okay.
have conveyed, is the fact that at the previous property that you allowed the seasonal restriction, we had asked that property owner to stake or make a mark someplace to show where the 100-foot buffer is. So
Right,
I didn't
especially
know
when
if you
there's
wanna
work
do that
going on,
again,
so that when any of us drive by, it doesn't take Rosemary to go out there and, with her map, you know, any of us can drive by and just view what's happening. And the other thing I would like to know is where is supplies gonna be put, as far as like when you're doing all of the framing and everything?
Everything will be, because this lot
Is
is
it-
flat through
Okay.
here, outside.
Right.
And then it all slopes down, so it's a walkout basement area.
Okay.
So the only place to reasonably do it, like, I can put a dumpster, because there's no septic in here now, I can put a dumpster, all the wood would be out front.
Right,
Everything would be done from the front of the house.
keeping it away from the
Correct.
hill, okay.
It's the old chicken coop, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, many, many years ago.
I wouldn't either.
We did find some pieces of foundation, so I'm guessing that may
Yeah.
be what you were referring to.
Yeah, there used to be a building there, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that we want the 100-foot buffer clearly marked where it dissects through the house, so there's some kind of yellow tape or something, or spray paint, so we know exactly where that 100-foot buffer is. And then I'd like to see a report at the end of the days actually worked.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, some kind of log.
I would like an estimate when you get closer,
Yeah.
and you have a framer, and you're
Mhm.
telling us he's gonna be out the next week or two, whatever, however long it takes, and then she can just keep track. Because obviously, you know, within 2 weeks, 2 months, there's 60 days, and, you know,
Correct. No, I
everybody's,
understand.
everybody's aware
I
of.
understand. I have very fast framers. No, I
Excellent.
mean, literally, this, if the right crew is there, I could frame this house in 3 days.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're 6, 7, 8 guys, you know, and depending on, and it's, when I buy, they're
Framing,
shocked at how
siding,
quickly.
roofing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the roofing and the windows and siding kind of go after that, but the initial one, which is the framing, can go very, very fast. But that is weather dependent, so if we
Right.
get 2 days of snow,
Absolutely.
it's a little hard to predict that.
All right.
Any other recommendations?
So, I mean, I guess my concern would be if they're not contiguous days and, you know, we get some snow or whatever, I would say make sure that area is clean daily, you know, because I know stuff, you know.
I
it's easy
I
to
have
look
no
at.
problem with that. I have a dumpster on site, and
Yeah.
they generally clean up on a daily basis, so the site will be kept neat.
Do you know where they're parking, and are they gonna drive on the lot and then on the road with muddy tires and that kind of stuff, or do you, I mean, it's a pretty quiet street, are you guys gonna keep the cars on the road? when you're-
I guess that depends day to day. In the colder
Okay.
days, it's not an issue
Not
at
an
all.
issue, right.
You know, as it gets warmer, obviously driving in and creating some sort of mud, but,
And just,
but
yeah, and then I think just to keep it off the street, because it just,
It's gonna create
I'm,
runoff.
I am-
as best you can,
I
I
am
mean,
a
you
very
know.
hands-on builder. I was in Danvers at a site, and I had my shovel and broom, and there was a little
Right.
mud, and I cleaned it up. So, I mean, I'm
Okay.
pretty conscious of streets and things like that that happen in this process.
There's no need for them to be driving around the back of the house, so I'm not as concerned about this one as that other one.
And they can't, and they can't really get
No.
And it's-
around the
yeah,
back.
it's
because
really
it's
close,
sloped.
too,
It
yeah.
slopes from the front corner to the front corner, so this is all sloped and flat into here, so it's not reasonable to get any vehicle in or out of the
Right.
backside.
Right.
are you gonna be driving a lull or something like that around the back, or are you gonna do it all
No.
from the front?
If they have, and they don't always have a lull,
Right.
but if they do, they would again be working from the
From
front
the
side.
front, okay.
All right, I'll make a motion that we grant a waiver to the seasonal restriction for the property at 35 Wood Street for 10 days between now and April 15th at the reduced fee of $600 total, and applicant will clearly mark the 100-foot buffer and provide a workday log when the work is complete, and notify, the third thing, notify the office when work starts.
And clean the area.
Yeah, and- well, that's right.
Okay.
Keep the area clean, of course.
Can you also let us know when you're done?
Sure.
Like if you
Yeah, well,
frame
part
for
of
3 or
the
4
let me know
I'll be in
days?
touch with her and let
Yeah.
her know when I'm gonna
Yep.
start, and
And then let me know when you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second on
I'll second that.
that.
Any
So-
further discussion?
So Rosemary should put a letter together and send
Okay.
that to
Yep.
him.
What about the driveway? I just
Oops,
noticed,
sorry.
is that still within, is that?
driveway's out of the buffer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So is the full
I
septic
thought it was
system.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
probably, right
The
here.
driveway
Yeah. Oh,
goes
alright.
straight in.
Right.
Excellent.
So, I don't know what the best way to mark the 100-foot buffer is.
Can we maybe
Spray
do-
paint, but,
Well, spray
Maybe do
paint won't
stakes?
last.
Yeah,
Maybe
right. I mean,
stakes in the front and,
Assuming, at this point, because I have an as-built foundation plan, it's obviously not exactly the way this is, but it's pretty close, this corner towards that corner. So, it's built where it's supposed to be.
What if you put a stake
Within-
at the one corner and then put a stake towards the back?
Basically, if I go from this
Right.
corner to that corner, and, but it's pretty self-explanatory based on the two corners of the house going this way
yeah.
are in the buffer zone.
It's just that when we go out there, somebody doesn't have a plan in front of them. We
Yeah.
just
So
want
Right,
to be able to
exactly.
say.
We're not driving around
Sure.
with this.
Right, so if you
One on
just
this
put
side,
in, yeah.
one on
put
that
in
side.
I'll
stakes.
put in 4 stakes. I'll
Yeah.
put one up towards here, one at the
Yeah.
corner,
Oh,
one here,
excellent.
one back
Yeah.
here.
Yep, no,
Yeah,
that
And
would be
I'll
just
put
great.
mark
orange
on
paint
there.
on them,
Yeah.
just so that
That's
they
fine.
stick out a
Yeah.
little bit.
That would be super, yep, excellent.
And if it's warm enough tomorrow, I assume maybe Friday, I'll be able to even pound them into the ground adequately.
and is the deck part of this request or just the house framing?
No, that'll come, I can do that.
The deck will be during season,
Yeah.
okay. So just the house framing.
The goal is just to get the roofing on so I can start doing interior
Inside,
plumbing
right.
and things like that.
Any more discussion? No? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Sorry. I didn't see you raise your hand.
Can I just leave a check with you now?
Yep.
And you're gonna just issue a letter to me?
Yep.
I'll let you know. It won't be in the next 10 days that I start, probably
Okay.
based on
Yep.
my framer's schedule, but
Yep, you can just leave me a check and then just let me know when you start and then I'll
Sure.
just come out.
Yep.
That would be great, thank you.
Town of Groveland?
Yes.
When you were here. This one you weren't.
Great, thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah, might as well.
All right, next up, we're gonna do Sewell Street filing. And Mike's gonna talk about that.
Yep.
Okay, so we received, we have received from, related to Sewell Street, a copy of a NIPD's permit, a stormwater pollution prevention plan, a stormwater management report, and a soil management plan. And they all detail the intent to drastically alter the site there at the rear of Sewell Street. So, I read through them tried to read through them quite a bit, you know, but it's kind of complicated. So, but based on that, I put together some recommendations of what I think we need to do. So, we currently have an open order of conditions that was issued to the previous owners in December of 2013, and its purpose was to address runoff from the site that had altered the adjoining wetlands and resource areas. And, you know, I think that it was our opinion at the time, and probably still is, that the runoff is coming anywhere from that site and going into the wetlands, perhaps intermittently, but was shown to come from there over a period of the last probably 20 years. And so, due to these proposed changes, I think we want to ask the current owners to file an amended notice of intent to update the current order to take into account all the work that's planned on the rest of the site and how it's going to affect the wetlands and resource areas that adjoin the property. And once that's done, I think we're going to need some help because it's kind of complicated.
So,
Yeah.
so we just got the aforementioned items in the first paragraph, but there's no, other than that, there's no overall site plan
Well-
or any details beyond.
You have all that stuff already. That was submitted on, probably back in October.
Yeah, we do have a site plan, Tom.
But I mean, besides the property, there's not a, as far as what the property is gonna become, is that all spelled out already, or?
No.
No, okay. That's-
I think the main thing that these plans address is, you know, site preparation.
Right.
Mr. Daly requested that we do a site visit. Might not hurt to do at least one site visit soon, so we kind of get because if you haven't been out there, and even if you know, I think that only Tom and I were involved in the previous notice of intent. Even then, the site's changed since, you know, that was
Yeah, that was several years ago.
at least 4 years ago, so probably be worth a visit out there, you know, if there's no snow on the ground.
Okay, so you're looking for a site visit.
Well, I think it would be best to, all of us to get on the same page. You know, the land was already drastically altered back in the 80s and 90s, when it was mined down to nothing, you know. There's an escrow account in place with over $100,000 to restore the land to the prior conditions, restoration. So we just want to get it back to a working area. With some of the rocks coming down, it's not going all the way up. It's on the grading plan. We think it's a reasonable grade. It's the neighboring property poses an issue because, you know, obviously we don't own that property, and that was also mined out. We're doing the best we can to talk to those owners, but it's complicated over there. So that kind of holds us back a little bit with grading, because you have to meet up 3 sides, but then you also have this other side, so. And we've been talking to Natural Heritage, we've been going back and forth with walls or slopes because of the habitat and all that, so that's just about ironed out. But you know, the brook, there used to be 3 wash basins that Aggregate Industries used to have that are kind of between the sedimentation pond and the brook. They're not connected, they would be if they overflowed, and it would just be good for everyone to get on the same page and understand the site. It's pretty heavily vegetated now over the past, I think, from 2012 till now, because 2012-13 was when Heritage was out there. It was pretty barren. Now it's all vegetated pretty heavily. And you can walk around and you can see what's going on. There's a lot of water coming in from neighboring properties going into that pond, the sedimentation base, I should say. So I don't see the need to file an amended notice of intent. I don't know why we would talk about that, but if we could all just get on the same page, and I think we could have a more successful project if everyone knows what's going on. Like some things, like the repairs to that sedimentation pond for the site, you know, to finish that thing final now maybe isn't the right answer, you know, because it should be protected more while the work is taking place, and then. But it's hard to explain. People should see it for themselves, I think.
So the original notice of intent would have different,
Well, I could do it. I just don't know if it's gonna, you know.
Because you said you're
it would
changing
need
what-
more measures than that, because it's an awful lot of water. And if there is an incident, it's gonna be in that area, you know, and that's, I think if everyone's on the same page and we understand what's going on over there and what is gonna go on over there in the future, it'd be good to see it over there. I think I submitted everything from your last meeting. You know, you guys are talking about, you'd like to have some more information. I thought I put a nice package together, dropped off with Rosemary, just to answer any questions. Most of the stuff is right in the soil management plan. And that's about it. So we'll work with DEP and Heritage, so.
folder.
Yeah, is it the agreement? Can I just refresh my memory? Thank you.
No, I don't have any problem, you guys coming out, you know, during the course of construction, and,
So it actually ends, there is no, maybe that's a street on paper, but the real,
the road probably ends here.
the road probably ends at somewhere here, because that's the new building.
That's the new garage,
They're all
correct.
10 years old probably now.
Yep.
So you own this, and correct me if I'm wrong, you own all of this,
Correct.
you do not own
I
that,
do not own this, I own this,
and that is,
I own this,
oh, you own that too, okay.
and it goes fair amount ways towards Meadow Pond. That's-
Right, and here's where the
South
main part of
Towers.
the quarry is and stuff.
No, of course, right here, here's the bottom,
Okay, but like
Rock.
the ledge, or I don't call it ledges,
Right.
but the
Yeah.
rock and stuff is,
right here, these dark lines, those are cliffs. See those?
okay, yep, okay. Because I don't think we've ever walked way up here.
Those are trails that go right to Meadow Pond in that area. So that
Yeah,
cell
it's all
phone
trails,
tower,
yeah.
that cell phone tower is like right in that area.
In there,
Right, yeah.
okay.
This is the sand pit over here. This whole area, that big open barren sand area.
Yeah.
The shooting range?
No, no,
It's a
different,
different one.
the shooting range would be over here somewhere in
Oh.
town.
Yeah, this is Salem.
Oh,
The
it
range
is
is on
Salem,
Center.
okay.
I thought this was all wet right here on the edge. When was the last time the wetlands were delineated?
About 2 months ago.
2 months ago? we have the old? I'm just curious, maybe it's a memory issue, because it's been a couple of years, but I thought when we walked here, I thought this whole area was all wet too, and now it
Well,
seems like
that's the sedimentation basin right here.
Yeah, but this is all vegetated now, because that was all barren before.
Yeah. Like I said, it's barren up here. It's not my problem.
Mhm.
Pond extends a little bit out to his, so that's gonna come back.
There might be some aerials.
Okay, so it makes sense then if that was the edge. So are we going on a site visit?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
the only question I would have is if we should do anything until we resolve if we're gonna get an amended notice of intent or not. Because I
Oh,
don't know.
so you want that before you?
Well, we're gonna have to visit it if we have a filing, but is there any purpose in seeing it ahead of time? Maybe, but I want to resolve whether or not we're gonna have an amended notice of intent filed with us or not.
Well, I could be mistaken, because it's
Yeah.
been a couple of years, but I don't remember the last time we looked at this property that there was any kind of road work or building planned, and now we're showing a building of road work, so in my mind, that's a different kind of filing.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, it states in that orders of condition that if the plans change, that they need to file for amendments, so that's kind of where we're at, so I don't know why we wouldn't need an amended filing. So, we could go look at it.
I don't know why there would be another filing outside of,
Well, you
Well,
have different
what am I
plans.
gonna
You have different plans, yeah.
One has a building on it with a roadway, and the other one didn't.
well, that was the concept plan. I have a grading plan that's the same as the grading plans, and so when we get to the final building, obviously I'll file for all permits, but when we do that, if it's not in jurisdiction, it's not in
No,
jurisdiction.
but you're changing the site. As I mentioned, we contend that,
Well, we'll stay with the grading plan.
no, but we contend that entire site is under our jurisdiction because of the way that it's sloped and the runoff from the site has gone into the wetlands. And so that was what the original filing was, to prevent that from ever happening again. That work was never done. It still hasn't been done. And now you're proposing to drastically alter the site. And so, of course, we want an amended amended
Drastically
filing.
altering, I'm not drastically altering the site. I'm restoring the site to its previous
Right,
condition.
exactly. You're changing the site from
But-
what it is, right?
Which is the same exact plans back when aggregate submitted and the previous owner.
That's not the,
That
was
was
that
a-
the
that's a
plan that
con-
we
that's
saw,
not the grading pl-
Tom, when we had the
The grading
previous
plan
owner
is-
come in? They had nothing, they talked nothing about what they were gonna do with that site, except fix the pond, fix the sedimentation.
Fix the
That was it.
sedimentation issue, that was.
I have the
runoff.
grading plan at the other.
Well, it doesn't matter. That wasn't filed with the notice of intent.
Here's the thing, you're submitting a plan from September 2017, so clearly it's changed.
This wasn't, that plan was submitted for planning board for concept. That wasn't,
So what are you gonna do then if you're not doing this?
I have a grading plan. It's such a long drawn-out project that, not drawn out, but it's gonna take time to get to that point. So what would I don't know what I would amend the file for. I don't,
To take into account the changes that you're making on the site. That's what you need to do.
But if I'm out of the 100-foot.
It doesn't
buffer
matter,
zone-
because
The
it
whole-
doesn't matter that you're out of the 100-foot buffer. The work on that site is gonna come down, is gonna affect the adjoining wetlands. We've already proven that previously. Unfortunately.
I disagree.
Well, you can disagree, but
But
that's what we've already said that, we've already
This is
taken
the
that
first I've heard
approach
of it.
a
This is
long
the-
time ago.
this is the first I've heard of it, so
Well,
I don't understand. If it's not, if I want to build a building back there, what do I file? I don't have, to. How do I file a notice of intent if I'm not in jurisdiction?
you file an amended notice of intent on what's already been out there, take a look at the current notice of intent, see what it says, and see, look at look at our orders of condition that we noted, that we filed on the notice of intent, and you'll see that
Oh,
what you're doing is gonna affect
if
that.
you, but you're saying you have control, you have jurisdiction over the entire site under that order of conditions.
Yes.
So why would I need to file an amended order of conditions?
Because
if you
you're
say you have
changing,
control?
you're changing the plan that was presented to us.
I'm not changing the plan.
You.
I'm not changing the plan.
Well, you are. Sorry.
I'm not changing the plan. I have the
Okay.
copies of the plans.
Okay.
I'd like to, not necessarily this second, because I think it would be lengthy, but I'd like to see the old stuff and go over it. I mean, I'm sort of with Mike in the sense of, I think going out there now, let's get all the information first, but
This information has been at Town Hall for months, and this is the first, I'm the one that has to initiate these conversations to try to get you guys on the same page with me here. I mean, you say you have jurisdiction of the whole site under this order of conditions that's out there, but yet I need to file an amended order of conditions for what? I don't understand.
Because the original instructions were designed to whatever the previous owner was doing.
Those
You're doing
grades have not
something
changed.
different.
No, I am not.
Well,
those grades
that's
have not
what you
changed.
presented to, I believe, Rosemary.
I don't think
right?
so.
Or Mike.
I have the old drawings. It's, nothing's changed in the drawings.
So you're saying that you didn't tell somebody that, either Mike or Rosemary, that you were doing something different?
Absolutely not. Everything has been in drawings since September.
Or the planning board? So who did we find this
Planning
out
board
from?
wanted to see a building for future. I mean, that's, obviously, that has a whole laundry list of permitting. I mean, when it gets to that point.
So do we have the old plan?
I'm sure we do on file somewhere.
Oh, we do.
We'd have to
And
dig through it.
you've submitted something in September, you said?
Yes. Yep,
Okay,
it's
so-
also in the,
So you're saying that those plans are the same as the ones
Not
that we
that
were,
plan.
we
No, he
received
said
in
he gave that to
2013?
The planning board, because they wanted
Yeah,
to see.
no,
a
I
building.
understand that, but
Okay.
I want to see the same exact site plan from 2013.
I have it right here, as a matter of fact, I think. Yeah, this is
Because
the one
I mean, again, I'm going off of memory, it's been a couple of years, but this plan doesn't show a building, but it shows a street. I mean, that's drastically different what's happening
What's
than
that
what
one?
used to be there. This is, what's the date on this one?
Where does it show the street?
Right up there. I mean, it's probably
That's
with
the
the
paper
paper
street.
street, right, I understand, but,
That's on every plan.
well, that's why I want to look at the old stuff.
Well, I don't think we
All
should
right.
waste time, looking through our files right now.
No,
We contend that a notice of intent needs to be, an amended notice of intent needs to be filed. That's where we stand.
Okay, so we'll pull the old information, and we'll review it at the next meeting. You will be available?
I'm actually going to be away, but I'll gladly
Okay.
look at it tonight afterwards if
Okay.
Rosemary has it in there and just refresh my memory.
Or
I'm
I'll
trying
send it to
remember.
you.
I don't, you lose me kind of, I'm not really an expert in the notice of intents and all that with the towns, but, so, if I do an amended notice of intent, what happens to my current order of conditions?
you'll get a new set of
It's renewed.
conditions.
Well, I just renewed the order
No,
of
but
conditions
you-
now for a year, I don't.
Right, that's why you can file an amendment to it.
And why would I file an amended order?
If what you're
Amended
doing there
motion.
has changed than what was originally discussed. I mean, we've had people, as an example, we've had people come in and they've had to change, you know, their driveway to a different spot, or the septic had to move, or something like that. And that's where it starts.
What's this one?
That's
This is-
the 2013 plan.
That's just for the basin area.
I think it's just talking about where, I'd have to read through the stuff, I forget.
Yeah, this
Because I
is-
was fixing this part. I mean,
Just
i-
the-
if
I'll
I,
just follow up with my engineers and legal on that and get back to you. That's
Okay.
For the next meeting, that's all. I mean, I don't, seems like we're going around in circles here, not making progress.
We're at a disadvantage because four of us, or at least the three of us, weren't here in 2013, so I'm kind of
Oh.
relying on their memories.
But the
Before
stuff's
we
been
can
submitted
even-
on and,
Yeah, I
you
know,
know.
but I'm-
I know, but
I'm
we're
not
not
familiar with
supposed to, we're supposed to do everything in a public meeting as far as like looking at the stuff, and,
Yeah, no, I
you know,
get you.
so.
But when I extended the order of conditions, there was no mention of anything.
Because you hadn't gone to planning board with a different plan, is what I'm assuming. I think
This was
that's-
after, that was after the planning board meeting. It was just.
doesn't really
It was the
matter.
actual development review.
That
too.
doesn't really matter.
I believe so.
You know, what matters is
I
you're
hear, I
coming
hear that
before
doesn't
us.
really matter a lot, and
No, but
it's
listen,
frustrating, because it does matter.
I'll give you an analogy, all right?
I don't need an analogy at
Somebody-
this point.
Well, somebody comes before us, and they're gonna put a house here on the lot, and they're within the
So,
100-foot
no, it's
buffer.
always
We
different
allow
than
it,
other
we give them the
Well,
permit, we
I'd
give
have
them the
to read
orders
through
of condition.
the things way
Then,
back
2
when.
years later, they come and they decide they wanna put the
Afterwards, I'd
house
like to
over
look at
here.
it. I don't want to waste everybody's
They
time.
have to
right?
file an amendment because they're making some kind of change. And the things that you're proposing were never talked about at the time when we issued the original orders.
I-
So that's why we need an amended order to file.
I'd have to read through it to refresh, but I thought it was just fixing the basin way back when, and now
Yes,
it's,
right.
now it's the whole thing.
Right,
which is
exactly. They didn't go
significantly different.
into what, they didn't want to talk
The
about
order of
what they were
conditions
doing.
talks about construction roads, the filling, everything. So I don't,
I'll have to
it's
look
No,
through
it
it.
was-
certainly not just for that.
It was
little-
focused on fixing the sedimentation pond to prevent any erosion from the rest of the site
So-
getting into the wetlands.
So are you saying then you don't have jurisdiction on the entire site?
No, we
We
do.
were saying we do. They were saying this,
So
this
I don't, that's where
plan,
you lose me.
this plan showed limit of work
Which is
right
there.
here.
Yeah, it's,
Right.
Okay, just on the
That-
basin.
That plan was done a year after the fill plan, because that was a problem. So they had to come up with a solution for that. For- And that's what the engineers came up with to stop the sediment from overflowing into the wetlands.
September, what's the date on this plan?
I think it says 2013.
So September 26, 2013.
I didn't see the original order of conditions, but I'll see if I can.
So if I look at this and I read the words and I look at the plan, it says limit of work is here and limit of work is here. There's no other work that's being proposed to any other part of the property, and now you're coming in,
No, I have a whole other drawing from Hancock Associates. This was done a year after
What does the other drawing show?
grading.
what was the
To
other?
where, though? Just those limited
No,
work
no,
areas?
no, the whole,
Okay, there you go.
yeah.
So you're gonna grade the entire site, correct? That's gonna affect everything that's not listed in here.
I mean, if. yeah,
This
if-
little area of work is what they presented, small list, you know.
This
and then
little
you're-
area of work is because that's what's taking place in the 100-foot buffer zone. But
No, but that's all they presented us.
That's what was presented for the notice of
So
intent.
you can't tell me
So-
that if you made
Well,
a huge dune there, that it wouldn't
I would
affect
say
it.
because the other plan isn't in the 100-foot buffer zone, and why would they? It's, you know,
Like I just said, if you were gonna build a
But-
50-foot dune, the water would definitely run down, even if it was
how
out
about
of
if
the
it was,
buffer
how
zone.
about if it was pitched the other way?
Either way, it's gonna
If it was,
affect,
if it was a pitched away from that, outside the buffer zone. I don't,
well, that's why we're here, to determine what type of impact it will
Yeah.
have. So your new
I understand.
plans
Yeah,
should be
your new
filed
plan would
with
show
us.
that.
it's.
And
the-
then we can say, oh, okay, here's the grading, and here's this, that.
You've
We're
had
gonna
that,
go
you've
do a
had
site
that new
visit.
plan since September. I mean, that's.
No, but it's not filed with us as a notice, amended notice of intent. We can't consider things outside of, we have a process, unfortunately, that has to be
If-
followed. It's
If the work
dictated
is
by the
outside the
state.
100-foot buffer zone.
No, it
Well, the guy
doesn't
that just
matter.
came before us, his house was outside, and we're not allowing him to do work without paying us the seasonal restriction, even though his house is outside, because he's affecting the wetlands.
Yep.
Unfortunately, your entire land isn't in the buffer zone, but if you're doing work, 10 miles down the road and it's not anywhere near the buffer zone, and we go out and look at it, confirm it,
So-
we're gonna say, oh, okay, you don't really need erosion controls, because it's not anywhere near
Yeah.
it. But we're gonna confirm that.
So I, you kind of lose me. So if a road is draining into a culvert because it drains into the wetlands, do you own the road? I mean, I don't, it's kind of the same
When
thing.
they do the work.
That's what you're telling me.
No, when they do the work,
So that road would
We-
have to, the
we were
road work that's
involved,
away
yes.
from a wetland would have to be, would it be a
We
notice of
were
intent?
Yes.
I don't
if it-
think so.
Yes.
If, because jurisdiction has been stated on the whole property,
Where is that? Where has that been stated?
The
You know,
ordinance-
That's my
bylaws.
point. So if you say that,
it's in the wetland bylaws.
then.
Well, and it's also was determined at our hearings on the previous orders.
So the order of condition talks about construction, haul roads, truck traffic, the sweepers. That's certainly not for that little sedimentation basin.
Yeah, it was.
Well, you wouldn't have haul roads and,
How would we know that if that's what they presented to us as the plan?
how would you know that you don't need haul roads?
Yeah.
Because it's a tiny
I
little.
don't know that.
It's a tiny little job.
Okay.
well, we didn't
I
put
don't
the
know
haul
that.
roads,
Yeah.
In the order of
In it.
conditions, it's in the special conditions.
we wouldn't have commented on them if we didn't,
Well, my point is, it's because
Right.
that's part of the other plan for the filling.
Right, but they somehow had to bring it to our awareness to be able to put it in there,
Into the order of conditions.
Right.
And the covenant
based on
order
what
of
they
conditions,
told us. So
which would have to do with the filling.
that's whatever it has to do with.
But you're telling me it's just this, so it doesn't, I don't,
They didn't address that, Heather. It was not brought up. It was not
Okay.
brought up. The current order of conditions only addresses what's on that plan there, the sedimentation pond, putting that in to prevent the rest of the site from eroding down into the wetlands. That was it. They didn't want to
Just
talk
for the
about what
record,
they were
there's
going to
zero
do.
erosion on the property, zero.
Well,
Zero.
you can prove that in your amended notice of intent. Anything, we're not questioning what you're gonna do. It's just, we need to go through the process to make sure we address what's already out there. You've already told me, you're planning on fixing that, so there isn't any erosion from it. So you should be able to just state those alterations that you're gonna make on the site,
I'm-
and then we grant, we amend our orders of condition. It doesn't have to be a big deal,
Well, it's probably 6 months.
not necessarily.
Yeah, so I don't know why I would file an amended order of
Well,
conditions. It doesn't.
It's
it
because the
doesn't-
only way we have of dealing with a change like that, unfortunately.
But if it's out of jurisdiction,
It isn't.
We just discussed it
it's in
wasn't though.
jurisdiction.
if it's in jurisdiction, that includes the filling, then.
If you alter any of the drainage patterns or water flow,
Yep,
it affects us.
yep.
So you can't tell me you're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff out here and that's gonna have zero effect.
Why was
Now, if
that
you-
put in? There was only one reason that was put in. To accept the drainage on the site. I have the stormwater management, I have the SWIP, I have all that stuff. It's,
So how do we know that the plans for that retention pond are designed properly for the changes that
It's
you're
in the
gonna make?
stormwater management policy, it's actually
Yeah, well,
less,
but-
I'll have less than current.
That's what you can show in your amended filing. That's all. We just want to see it all.
I don't see the need for an amended order of
Well,
condition, amended notice
unfortunately,
of intent. I
that's
don't-
what we need. It isn't even a matter of
But what-
what we want.
Well, why
It's
is it
what
being
we
talked
need.
about now? Why is it,
We could talk about it all night.
no, you had 5 months to bring it up.
We could, but it's, the onus is on you to file with us.
If,
We could talk about it all night, but we can't make any, that's not the way that the law works. We can't just say, yeah, okay,
Okay.
it sounds good to us, we like it,
I
yeah.
got you. Okay, well,
I mean,
I-
you can, this could take a year, but it could take a couple months if you just go back. I think you've got everything you need to do the amended notice of intent. Your plans are very complete. It's just a matter of putting it all in a package and do the filing. with
why
us.
would I need to do an amended notice of intent if you're sitting here telling me you have jurisdiction over the whole site under that order of conditions? It doesn't make sense.
Because you're making a
changed your
change.
plans.
I did not change the
You
plans.
changed what you're going to do to the site.
The plans
You just
have
told
not
me that
changed.
5 seconds ago. I said, what they filed in 2013, are you doing that? No, I'm doing the whole site. I'm doing grading, correct? You just
The
said that.
grading plan is the same exact grading plan as the 2 prior owners. The 2 prior owners.
That's
all
not
the way
what you
back to
just
aggregate.
said, because you said, no, I'm
Well,
doing.
Maybe you misunderstood me, but the grading plan, the grades.
So you're only confining your work to those 2 areas on that map?
No, there's another plan. You don't
It
have
has
the other
nothing to
plan.
do with
There's
that.
another plan from Hancock
That-
Associates.
Okay,
Well, this,
that's
but
the
you
communication
guys, but
difficulty here.
the communication, you guys are saying, yeah, this is what the notice of intent is for, and that's it. But you have it for the whole site. Well, why would you have it for the whole site? Why would you have jurisdiction over the whole site if this is all you have? You don't even know what the whole site is.
The whole site is the boundary of the property. We know we have that.
Yeah, but you say you have jurisdiction over that entire site.
Yes.
But that notice of intent is only for this.
Right, because
that's
that
the only
notice
I don't-
plan they presented.
So why would you have jurisdiction over the whole site?
Because it affects the wetland.
has nothing to do with that order. Regardless of that order being
So-
in place, we would still have jurisdiction over the whole site. That order
I
just
disagree.
addressed
I disagree.
putting in the sedimentation pond. That's all
has
that
nothing to
order
do with our
addressed.
But
jurisdiction.
what, the sedimentation pond would go in for the filling, which was the prior plan to this, because that sedimentation pond had a breach or something happened to it, so they had to address it to fix it from the filling. That's what happened.
But what are you doing?
Same thing they were doing,
Which is what?
filling to the same grades. I have the plan from aggregate, and I have the plan from G or Groveland RT. I have both those plans. My plan is the same grade.
So, I'm sure you have this, but, you know, they have in a paragraph here, the proposed work, which discusses, what do you call it? Sedimentation basin improvements. And later on in here, it says, the proposed work does not include any alterations to the watershed. This entire area, as best I can tell, I mean, it's, you know, looking at the contour, is the watershed. You're asking to do other work to the watershed, which is not covered under this plan, which was the filing that you did in 2013. So you're making a change to what you asked for back then.
I disagree. This, what you have right there is only to address the breach of the sedimentation basin. That's all you have. You don't have the other plans. I don't know.
Well, this engineering firm wrote in the application that you are
Only-
not
yeah.
altering all these things. You're going to do more, so therefore you need to amend ask for an amendment to the order of conditions that we gave in
If they
2013.
weren't doing other things, why would they even do
I don't
this?
know. We're
You
not gonna
know, so
discuss
that's,
that.
I know.
Well,
I'm not gonna- I'm
In
not gonna debate
2013,
what
it
they were
was
doing.
discussed to fix the sedimentation pond because there was a problem there.
Right.
That's all they came to us with. I have no idea what their other plans were, or what they wanted to
Well,
do, or
Right.
or whatever.
If they came after fixing it 6 months later, if they had done it, we would be saying the same thing. Either they would file a new notice of intent or an amended
Oh.
one.
Let's make sure we keep this all together.
So the language and the special conditions of the order of conditions, you tell me, only pertain to this, but you have jurisdiction over the entire site.
What I'm saying is, the work
Okay.
outlined by
I
the
gotcha.
engineer that was filed with the application says that this is the only work doing, they're not altering anything else.
Yep. So
That's
why,
what we voted on.
so why would you guys say that you have jurisdiction over the entire site,
I'm-
if that's
I'm-
all you know? If that's all you know?
No,
then-
what I'm saying is, this is what we voted on.
Okay.
You are now changing what you're asking to do,
Oh,
so we're asking you to amend the
I
application
think the
so that
other.
we can vote on that.
I think the previous owners did not have to do an amended notice of intent because it's outside of the
That's-
buffer zone.
that's not true.
And that's,
I,
and that's where the,
Did
that's
they
where
do the work?
Yeah, it started getting filled,
No.
yeah. Yes, that's what happened. So the filling was taking place, I don't know if it was the last one or the one before.
No, no work was done out there
There
since
was-
2013.
There was,
There's
I-
no work's been done.
no, before 2013. I don't know when it was done. I don't know if it was the
Yeah,
last
then
one
there
or
was
then
the.
it's-
an
it's
enforcement
not-
order and all other kinds of.
Well, that's why the
rules.
sedimentation pond had a breach, because the filling, they were dumping clay in there from
So
Boston.
they were
or something.
doing work prior to this,
Yes.
so they,
Filed.
they filed this to fix it, but it was only to do that work. The jurisdiction has to do with any work that's done on this property because any work on this property affects the wetland.
Including the work that they were doing at the time that had a breach, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but this is the work they filed for,
Yeah.
and that's it.
They said, we want permission
Because
to
the
do
other
this."
work didn't
Right.
require a
Has nothing to do
filing.
with, that's previous. Now,
Simultaneous.
No.
no, they had to do, they did, whatever filling did caused the issue, and then they had to come and do this to
Yeah.
fix that.
They,
So,
they
yeah.
presented us with a number of scientific, looking at the site of what's coming off of that site, and then design that, that pond to collect it and not have it disturb the wetlands anymore. But that was done with the way the site is, not with the way the site's going to be.
Attorney Nyland was involved with the order of conditions. And
Yes.
Attorney Nyland has the plans, the grading, he had all that stuff. So I'll just get him, and we'll come in next month, and we'll straighten it all out.
Okay.
Okay.
ask him to please review what we voted on.
That's fine. I just, you know,
Because-
for
Yeah,
me,
you're
I have
eligible.
trouble understanding, you know, that means everyone would have to file a notice of intent. If
They
were
do.
If they were draining into wetlands without any wetlands on their property.
Yeah.
If you're changing the watershed and you're changing the way the water,
Yeah. And if I'm not, because it's all in the stormwater management report that was, you know, dropped off a month ago. And the SWIP.
again, what we voted on was this work,
Yeah.
not what you're proposing to do. That's
Yeah.
the point.
I think the miscommunication is because that other work, the filling was already taking place outside of the buffer zone. So they never had a order of conditions for that, because there's no notice of intent required for that.
I don't know what happened 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know when,
No, not
when
20.
they started that, or
But why would they file a notice of intent if they were working outside the buffer zone? They would not,
'Cause
correct?
No, they would have.
They
Because
were under an
They would've-
They
enforcement
were under an
order.
enforcement order from the DEP.
That was only because of this area.
Because they were,
Right, because
Wetlands.
the work they were doing to fill it was.
But this was prior to this, prior to this, prior
Yes.
to this.
Right.
Right,
But
so they-
that's the whole point.
they didn't do it right, so therefore they caused damage, which created all of this.
Which shows that we have jurisdiction over the whole property.
But that doesn't cover any filling. But that was originally constructed because of the filling and needs to be reconstructed because of the filling. but yet it has nothing to do with the filling.
If they had filled properly and were out of the buffer zone and did not affect the wetland,
Yep.
that would have been okay. But because of the land and because of the work, they affected the wetland, which brought it to the notice of the DEP, and then
Yeah.
becomes an order of an enforcement. So from that, then we have jurisdiction over the whole property and what happens in that property. We only have their plan for the fixing of the basin.
You never got their fill plan.
I don't know.
We don't know.
2013,
Well,
we
I
would-
weren't
it's
here.
not in the
It's not
file.
in the
It's not in the
files,
files.
so.
It doesn't really matter, but
Because
the
it would've been
orders
prior
don't
to that.
address that anyway.
It would have,
Right.
it would have been prior to that, because it happened after.
That's
the
not
fill.
what they presented to us at the time, so.
Right.
All right,
Well, I'll ask.
Yeah, we only have the paper trail that we have, and
Yeah,
that's
no,
what we have.
I have the grading drawings from
Okay.
previous owners, so I'll bring those.
yep.
Okay,
Maybe
thank you.
Thank you.
Ask
Yep.
Mr. Nyland to
Yep.
get all that information
Yep.
and check with him.
Yep, no problem, thank
All right, So do
We
you
gotta
think-
do a continuation?
On what?
Johnson's Pond?
Yeah,
Nyland got on the, he got a copy of the order of conditions that went to him. That was that,
But back in
yeah.
the day.
Okay, I'd like to
guess
make a
I'm-
motion. I gotta open a hearing, just so we can continue it.
Okay.
well, actually,
Do we have to?
no, because they're filing a new, they put in a new one, so I think we can just,
It'll be on the March meeting.
we don't need to
Oh, excellent.
do anything with that.
Okay.
Wait, which one are we pointing to?
Johnson's Pond,
Johnson's Pond.
they're
Right.
filing a new,
A new
Yes, so
notice
they-
of
Notice of
intent.
Got
intent.
the order of conditions.
Okay,
okay.
so are we not talking about it?
We're not talking about it.
Okay.
They're not here.
Oh my gosh, you mean somebody's filing a new notice of intent?
All right, you.
Not an amended notice of intent?
Did everybody read the
Make it
minutes?
easier if we just,
I was halfway through.
to refresh your memory.
Okay.
I mean,
Yep.
that's just.
Well, he's gonna talk to him anyway.
Yes, but he may not give him
Okay.
the material. or-
He's asking about sending some,
I'm just thinking we should, if the attorney's going to be
Mhm.
coming, he should have the information that we have, and I just thought a package. should-
Well, they have everything we have.
Yeah,
We
they're the
may
ones
not
that
have-
mailed
We may
it.
not have everything he has. What I'm concerned about is, we're gonna have, today we had him coming in. Next time, we're gonna have him and an attorney coming in here, and we're gonna be arguing with an attorney and him. I'm not comfortable with that,
I'm not arguing anything.
no.
They should file.
No, but you know what we went through before with them.
I understand, but they have an option. There's
With this
an
property?
existing order
Oh,
of
right.
conditions. They can complete that work as specified in what we voted on,
Or they
and
can file a
nothing
new
more.
one.
And if they want to do more work, then they can file again, or they
Right.
can choose to
Right.
amend the current order based on what the work they actually want to do.
Exactly.
It's the option, it's all in their court. They can decide what they want to do, but
I
I
think
mean,
we're gonna
otherwise-
have to get help from town council. Maybe not at our next meeting, but I'm not comfortable sitting here arguing with an
Yeah.
attorney about this.
we need John.
well, my thing is, if they're gonna do
I'll see
any
you
other
later,
work than
John.
what's shown in that plan,
Right.
then we need to hire a wetland scientist
yeah.
to evaluate the whole thing.
Sure.
I mean, that's no different than
But
what
they
the
don't
planning board
even-
does or anybody else.
They're gonna argue that they don't need to file an amended order, you know? That's what.
But I think we
he's
pretty
gonna
much told him no.
Right, well, that's
I don't,
right.
I mean,
It
I
does-
mean-
Yeah, the information doesn't seem like it's the same as what was
No.
already filed.
so he can waste another month and come in next month with an attorney, and
Yeah.
that's his
Well, that's what I
prerogative.
tried to emphasize, that if he just filed an amended,
Right.
we could be done with it in a couple months instead of this fighting back and forth.
Okay.
Done reading the minutes
Sunny reading the minutes.
from November 8th.
Okay. Well, you weren't at that one, so you don't really have to read that one.
I would abstain anyways on the January 10th because I wasn't
Yeah.
there.
That's what I mean, you weren't there. Do you need the minutes down there, Fred? Okay.
What was the reason why we had to put off the November 8th at the last meeting?
It was
Wasn't-
corrections.
Oh, okay.
Because Julie wasn't here.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Julie was in here
we
at the
missing
last-
a December?
No, I think
No,
we
sure.
approved
Oh, I-
December last
Yes.
time.
Oh, okay.
It was November that we didn't, something
There
about
was
it.
corrections.
Yeah.
No, actually, I took off the minutes off of January. I didn't approve any. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 8th, 2017 meeting. Any second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting from January 10th, 2018.
I will second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those abstained?
Abstain.
Okay, Tom. Conservation agent, do you have any updates for us?
I do.
Excellent.
Bet she does.
Please inform us.
All right, so we have.
Can I just
a-
get those minutes?
Oh.
I gotta sign them. Thanks.
Yeah, the January.
So Nichols Village is doing an expansion. They're away from the wetlands, but just so that you guys are aware of what they're doing. They dropped off some of the information for us.
Is this the main building or to one of the apartments down below or?
No, it's
new
up the
stuff?
top of the hill.
Okay.
Try to put it over here. So, everything is up the top, away from the other one. I didn't look at this one, this is the new one that they just dropped off, so.
Oh, it's only going down towards Wood Street.
Yes. Oh, here, this is even better. So, here's the limit of work, here's the buffer. Everything nicely color coordinated for you. That was the one he just dropped off for us. So,
Wetland buffer is in blue?
yep,
Oh, okay.
yep, it goes down to that,
And is this the one with the hill? In the
yes,
back?
yep, so they, yep,
Okay.
it goes up
So Wood
that
Street.
way. Yeah, Wood Street would be on the other side.
Hmm.
Town
Good
forest
direction.
is up back this way too, right?
Back
Yeah.
here is
Yep.
down for,
Yep.
wait, that looks different than.
Oh, did I put it the wrong way?
No,
Sorry.
no, no, I'm just trying to, because Wood Street's here. Oh, okay, so they just ended, they didn't show,
Yeah,
okay, so that is that,
right.
so they didn't show what's, so but they own this. No, other people own this.
Well, that's part, that's,
So I guess what I'm questioning is, are they doing work here, or are they just doing?
they're
here?
just doing this, that's what I was told.
Is this maybe just from the planning board, they're dividing up the land or something?
That's Wood Street.
Well, I'm looking, this is, I mean, obviously a larger scale, so they're probably only coming to here, right?
Do they have a do they have a road that goes?
Oh, right here.
Yeah, there's a fire road that comes on here.
Okay,
or
so
above.
that's locked, right?
Right, and then
So these are
it looks
butters.
like they're adding a new, so that's the existing building there.
This
so
is the
they're-
existing building, they're changing this part, you know, that entrance that they
Yeah.
have? Well, they're changing that, and they're changing the road, so the road is gonna go up and around
Right.
now.
So, yeah.
And then they're building a new building
Right
here.
in there.
Right, yes, right here.
Oh,
And they're not doing anything with the garden that's over on the side.
And this is town forest here.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, it goes down a ways.
correspondence.
Thank you. So it's out of the buffer, but this is where he's putting the erosion, he's gonna have erosion control around it, so. I asked him that when they start work, when they have the erosion control out, before they start the work, to let me know, and I'll just take a ride up and just check it out, so, to make sure that there's not any problems or anything.
They're not digging
Right.
anywhere near that or anything, right?
No, everything is up on
So
that
we're gonna
side.
keep the dirt somewhere else?
Yeah, he had said he was, well, I forget, you were there too.
Yeah.
Didn't he say that they had a place that they were stockpiling? I thought he said.
Where's the pond? Because he's gonna like corral it off, Oh, no,
It's down here.
Oh, garden, I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's
the
garden.
garden.
say pond?
Yeah,
No,
no, it's the garden, it's
Sorry.
the garden.
He's gonna corral it off so that nothing goes into
Right.
it, and then they're
We're
gonna
gonna stockpile over
right
there,
here.
right.
Okay.
You're right, yep, now I remember,
I was
yes.
like, they're gonna stockpile in the pond.
Yeah,
No!
There's a
We're
lot of
gonna fill it
room.
in.
so is that more units, or did they say? what-
It's a pool and a workout thing, I believe.
Oh,
And there's
okay, so it's not-
23 more units. in it.
Units going in too, so. There's that, and then one more thing,
So on that one, what do we need to do?
I
Just
don't
send
think you
them a
really
letter?
need.
It was just,
If I can, if you would like.
I thought we were supposed to send a letter to the planning board. It was the
Yes.
planning board that was
Yeah.
asking.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
do you have a sample letter?
From the one like I sent the last time?
Yeah, just, I don't know
So-
if they know what you usually send.
I just did a memo. Oh, I think it was for Wood Street? I just did a memo for somebody. No, I must have put it away. I'll grab the one that I sent to the planning board the last time. And so this is just information on Estes Park for their waterways application, and I'll go grab that memo.
Waterways application.
So-
Yeah, they're
Putting
putting
in a
in
dock?
by Johnson and.
Hmm. Oh. This one?
Right here.
Oh,
So that's the building, that's where he was dumping stuff, and we told him no,
yes. No.
and now he's building a walkway, or whatever. What is it? It's a,
Seeded? Seeded with new.
Well, they're doing the work out there for the restoration of the bank that they
Oh,
had,
right.
remember, they
Yes.
submitted NOI after the fact that they were coming in there, that DEP
Right.
asked them to do. So they're
No, no.
they're doing that, reseeding the bank and cleaning up from previously.
Okay, he was just lying to me.
no, I just, when you said waterways, I thought, oh, they're putting a dock in.
So this is.
Totally wrong.
This is the memo that I sent to the planning board the last, for Atwood Estates. So I can do the same thing for, do you want me to do the same thing for Nichols Village? Just to the planning board?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Unless
just,
there's something else that you guys want addressed.
Yeah.
no, you're just gonna change the words though, because we don't
Yeah.
need a filing from them.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, but,
yeah, so I'll just send a memo to them and just say that it's fine, that they're not filing with us, but we've reviewed their plan, okay.
And you're gonna go by and
Right,
check out the site when they begin work?
yep.
Okay. Do you have an update on the trees?
No, I tried to call
Okay.
them, and I sent an email, and unless they
Okay,
sent something now, I don't know. For Marion, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the river?
oh,
yeah.
I could check and see if there's anything else in
That-
We're addressing it.
it. Okay.
Any other updates?
That's all I have.
Excellent. Any old business items?
Yes, I think I've got 3 things.
Oh, okay.
So Terry brought this one up, and since he's not here tonight,
Oh, yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Good.
I thought that was commissioner's time, I was waiting.
We were all gonna jump on it.
I forget the exact number of the property on Washington Street,
But we all know.
but it's the one we all know, yes. So I did ride by there today.
186?
186,
Yeah.
yes, that's it.
that sounds
186
familiar.
Washington. I rode by there today, and it looks exactly like it was doing the same exact thing as before. There's water coming off the hill, but you can't really see exactly where it's coming from.
It's right by the fire hydrant.
Yeah, by the
It
fire
oozes out
hydrants,
somehow.
running into the street all the way down and going, eroding a little path right into the wetland.
So we've addressed it with letters, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
And what
He-
happened?
He made some
He said he was gonna
changes.
do
Yep.
stuff.
He made some changes, but evidently they weren't enough, because it's still doing the same doggone thing.
So
Right?
Terry mentioned there was supposed to be a swale there. I'd have to look
At
at
the
the plan. I don't remember, it was so many years ago.
It's at the very bottom. There was like a
Right.
little weird corral area, and it's kind of still there, but
Well, maybe it's just been filled in
Filled
with
in.
stuff and it
Yeah.
hasn't, it's not doing its job.
But I don't think that's what he's
No.
talking about, because that's where I looked, and Mike said it was down the back side of the hill.
I'm not sure, I can't tell
Right.
where it's coming from.
So-
And I don't know exactly what it's gonna take to make it not do it anymore, but
Yeah, I don't know. I did say, could I drive by there 2 times a day going
Yeah.
to work? And I looked this afternoon coming back because it
could
was still
you,
light.
could you see what it is?
Well, my main concern was it doesn't seem to be coming off the driveway.
No.
It's definitely coming off the hill between the
Yes.
driveway and the fire hydrant. But I don't know, I mean, if it's, but it does that all the time. But it seems, what I'm wondering about when Terry wrote about the swale was if there was supposed to be a swale there to capture that, that would maybe at least contain it a little bit and let it, just hold the water there rather than eroding
Yeah, right.
everything down towards the wetlands
Right.
past the driveway.
It shouldn't even be going into the road.
Right.
So the way the driveway comes down, there is no space in between the driveway and the road to have one. Yes,
Well,
exactly.
I'm wondering
It's over
if-
here.
No, but
Well, I
back
think
where
I-
the fire hydrant is,
I-
maybe there could be a swale
Yeah.
there.
I think it comes out here and then it just sort of goes across the road and then it all
Oh.
comes here. We had also seen stuff during like rain events where it was coming off the top of the
Right.
driveway here and coming down into the road. But I didn't see that today when I came by in the afternoon. It was, I mean, this was dry and all of this is just wet. And I'm wondering, I don't have the plans and it was a very long time ago, but was there supposed to be like a swale there or something to capture some of that?
No, but,
But maybe they have to do something now.
Well-
because-
Isn't there another driveway right here
No,
at the end of
over
the
here.
hill?
Over here, that's for the other house.
Yeah.
Larry
But it's
Kelly
way down
did
there.
do some things to fix it. But this was last fall, and it hasn't been that wet since he made his changes. But whatever he did obviously wasn't good enough.
So we need to follow up with another
Yeah.
letter. But more, maybe more specific, like
Well,
whatever was done is failing and it needs to be built up or something.
They just need to keep the water from eroding soil across the road, or not across the road, but down the road into the wetlands.
Yeah.
Maybe Terry meant there was supposed to be a swale on this side to
I
capture
saw
it or
one on
something.
that side. That's where I got out of my car and took pictures. It's like black, like plastic or whatever, with stakes, and it was kind of like,
Oh, there was a silt fence there.
okay.
Maybe it's just all
At the
just,
end
But it
of the
was small.
driveway, there
Just
was a
filled.
silt fence, and that kind of fell in and eroded.
Right, it's been there so long that
Yeah.
it didn't really look like anything.
If he could get the water coming off the hill to never go into the road, but
You
go
need to
back
burn.
into the ground there on the side of the road, then it wouldn't go into the road and run down, you know? I don't know. So what should we do? Have Rosemary contact
Larry
Larry
Kelly.
Kelly again and tell him that it's not working?
is Larry Kelly the owner? Is that?
No, but he's the one who's doing
He's
the
the
He's
work.
one that did the
responsible.
work, yeah.
I mean, we
Okay.
we could contract the owner, I suppose.
We did actually the last time.
Last
We
time,
did 2
yep.
letters, and
Right.
you didn't hear anything from the owner.
Nope.
No.
So try to call Larry Kelly.
He won't return my calls. He
Well-
only returns yours.
We'll try to call him.
Well,
Call him twice.
I will
Call
call him,
him.
leave messages, he will not call me back. He calls, and then if he doesn't call me back, then he calls Mike and wants to know what's going on.
I would suggest if he doesn't return our phone calls, then we set a letter through the regular mail and a registered letter to
Okay.
the owner. Basically outline it's, the runoff is not contained. There's
Okay.
erosion going into the wetlands. It needs to be addressed, and they need to have a plan. And to please let us know by March, whatever the next
14th.
meeting
Whatever the
is.
next meeting.
Well, but let's try calling him first.
I will
No,
call
no,
him
no, I
first.
think so,
just-
but-
I'm
He
just-
said call him first.
I mean-
But if she
I will
doesn't get a
call.
call back from him,
And then if not, I will, if I don't hear from him, I will write a letter telling him the runoff has not been contained and he has to address the fact that,
yeah, we've already addressed this last year and he didn't get back to us. He
Yeah.
didn't get back to us, so,
So we could
One-
do both at the same time.
Yeah,
Send
say,
a
write the
letter,
letter
just
down.
say, don't threaten anything
Oh,
with a letter.
no,
just-
No, I'm not saying threatening, I'm just saying, just,
Yeah,
hey,
so
you bring it
let's-
to your attention, it needs to be addressed, and.
Let's
and just
send a
come
letter
up with
to
a
the
plan.
owner and call Mr. Kelly. Let's do both those things,
yeah.
right? That way maybe somebody will talk to us.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
it seems like a,
The next one is 929, 931 Salem Street. So work has been going on recently, probably the last month, outside the 100-foot buffer, which is okay, but I think I'd like to see Rosemary go there. It's another place where the 100-foot buffer is not marked, so we don't really know.
Is the
Is
cliff
he
going?
going in the
Oh, yeah.
100-foot buffer or not? You know what I mean? So I think I'd like to have Rosemary go there and see if she can determine where, is there anything marking the 100-foot buffer to make sure they're staying out of it?
I
And if not,
thought we said it was.
then we should ask for some better marking, so we are 100% sure they are not working in the buffer zone.
to double check on the plan, but I thought that that's what we said the last time too.
Yeah.
We asked for them to,
No, I think we said last time that it was marked, so.
Yeah, but you look at it, I'm telling you, you can't tell.
maybe they took down the stuff that was marked.
Right?
well, that would imply they're doing work within the 100 feet if they're taking down the
Oh,
markers.
yeah, that's true.
So you're gonna take a ride out, Rosemary?
I'll
Okay.
take a ride.
Okay,
And 121 Seven Star Road, the other place that's
yeah,
working under the seasonal restriction there. I've ridden by that a couple of times. Looks like they're making quite a bit of progress, but probably wouldn't hurt to do a site visit on that one.
a site visit because they're done?
No, just to make sure that they're staying out of the 100-foot.
Oh,
but,
you mean
know.
Rosemary visit?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I
I
didn't
think
mean
then all
us.
of us,
No, no. Just
Do
to
a
check up
drive-by.
on
Now I
them.
want to, because I haven't.
Drive by with the
My bad.
stuff.
So we can get a report from Rosemary
Okay.
on all three
Yep.
of these things.
any other old business?
I think that's all I've got.
Old business.
I don't know if it's old business.
Did we talk about it before?
Yes, we did.
Okay, it's old business.
Okay. So I just to keep the conversation going about the seasonal waivers, Rosemary, you were gonna do some calling around and checking and.
The only one I found so far that has any seasonal restrictions at all is in Boxford. And theirs is December 1st to April 1st. I wrote it down.
Okay.
That's the only one that I found so far. But I put in a request to MACC to see if they knew of any other towns in that might have one too.
Okay,
But I've looked at Andover, North Andover, Acton, Concord. So that's Boxford's the only one I found so far.
Thank you.
Yep.
any items for commissioners' time? No, he
Mike-
stole your
Mike
thunder.
took the wind out of my sails.
Oh,
Sorry about that, Carl.
That's all
Any other items?
Uh,
Mr. Dempsey.
I can't think of anything.
Wait, just out of curiosity, where are we with the whole Johnson's Pond watershed evaluation? I know there was some work done through the highway department, and then we went to vote, and I think it was turned down.
No. The management plan for for Johnson's Creek watershed was awarded to Camet Engineering. And I just heard from him by email today that they're planning a kickoff meeting to start the project this month.
When you say kickoff, meaning like at their firm, or?
Yeah. Or they'll come in and talk to us, one or the other. I'm
Okay.
not quite sure exactly what he was planning. I haven't heard back from him about what that's gonna be, but whether he's gonna have a meeting with our agent or whoever else can attend, or is he willing to come in here and talk to us about it, it probably would make sense if he came in here and talked to us about it in March.
Yeah, I mean, I'd also be curious if it's, considering it's a big, well, it's not a big project in town, but it may be of interest to other people in town,
Yeah.
sort of like a Q&A, or maybe when they're complete and they want to present it, in case anybody has questions or is just curious.
All right, I'll see what what his plans are.
No,
Oh, okay, just checking.
totally unrelated.
Oh, all right.
Unrelated.
It was just, when you said Q&A, that's the first thing I thought of.
No, because there have been other people who abut that watershed
Right,
have had concerns and whatnot,
Yep.
and I look at this is now we have the experts who will have the information and
Right.
the data, and there can be a factual discussion on the science behind it.
I think
That's my-
what he was gonna talk about is, the
I
timeline
was gonna
for
say,
getting
hopefully a
this all
timeline.
done. Because it's quite a bit of work that they're gonna do.
Right, and maybe a Q&A kind of thing is like when it's all done and he presents the findings.
Yeah, certainly,
You know, maybe
certainly,
that's more
we would get
appropriate.
that.
Yeah.
any other commissioner items? Move to adjourn.
Actually, I have one.
Oh,
Yes.
Fred's got
In
one.
regards to the MACC conference on
Oh,
March
yes.
3rd.
Oh, yes. Would you like to go?
It's a good possibility.
Okay. Do we have the funds for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have funds, and if you go, try to take one or two of the courses, and I would recommend that all of us, you can keep that, I think, Fred. All of us try to take a course between now and the end of the fiscal year, because we put the money in for those things, so,
It doesn't roll over?
no.
No.
If we don't spend it,
Let's go.
and now's the time to
Yeah.
spend it.
Don't spend it, they'll take it away.
Spend.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I would love to, but I'm already in school.
But some of the things are, there's even some online ones. I
Right,
think,
yeah. I did the
Oh,
online.
you took one
Yeah, I
online.
took the online one, that
How
worked
long was
out.
that?
I don't know, it was
Like,
an
I'm
hour.
doing 8 weeks and then another 8 weeks. And
No, it was like one night, it was just like,
Oh, all right.
it was
Yeah,
like, I
it's-
think it was
it's
like a
easy.
2-hour thing, and,
No, I'm thinking too, because I'm not gonna be here in March because I'm traveling again. It's like my head's exploding.
no, I
It's like,
did, but
there's only so much.
it actually worked out pretty well, the sound quality was good, and they just, they go through
so was it
slides.
like a webinar?
It was a webinar,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, so.
I'll have to look at that. I can do that from a hotel room.
What else do you got to do, right?
Hey, we can Skype you in if you want. That's a
I
possibility.
should do that. I'll be in the warehouse and,
I know
yeah,
you want to.
that would actually be fun.
The next meeting is gonna be a,
Can I be an iPad? You
discussion.
can have my
Yes.
head sitting here.
I would love that.
You can have someone argue with a robot.
You're not gonna be here at our next meeting?
No, I'm
Oh,
gonna be
gee.
away.
I know.
Yeah.
You'll have to convince your other friend.
Terry. Terry said he might be.
Yeah, he said there's a possibility.
I mean, things change, but I
Yeah.
literally almost hit the reserve button today for plane and hotel, so
Wow.
there's a couple of confirmations I have to make tomorrow, but I'm gone for a couple of weeks, so.
So there was a motion for adjournment. Did it
Oh.
get closed?
No,
I
nobody
s- I
seconded it.
seconded
Well,
Oh, you did?
okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We gotta keep those motions rolling.
I know.